Okay, buddy, today we'll be discussing about mitochondria. Now, the mito means thread, okay, and chondrion means granules. So, they are basically thread-like granules present in the cytoplasm, and they are also called the powerhouse of the cell because they produce ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. We'll be talking about them, their functions, but first of all, let us talk about the ultrastructure of mitochondria. Okay, so for this, let us draw a rough diagram of mitochondria. Okay, okay, now this is the outer membrane, as you all know, of mitochondria, and this is the inner membrane. Okay, now the outer and the inner membrane are both 60 to 75 angstrom in thickness. Okay, so they are both 60 to 65, or you can say 75 angstrom in thickness. Now the gap in between these two membranes is called the outer compartment, or we can also call it PeriMitochondrial space. So this is PeriMitochondrial space. Now peri means periphery. Okay, so this is actually periphery, and mitochondria, so it is actually guarding or covering the mitochondria in all directions, and that's why we can call it PeriMitochondrial space, or the outer chamber of mitochondria. Okay, now this is the inner membrane. Okay, and the inner membrane is enclosing the matrix substance. Okay, and this chamber is called the inner chamber. Okay, now you can see that the inner membrane has some finger-like projections, and these are called crista, and in plural it is called cristae. Okay, now this PeriMitochondrial space is actually, you can say that it is 60 to 100 angstrom in thickness. Okay, now mitochondria is a very important organelle because it produces ATP. So ATP is very important for our survival because it acts as the energy currency of our body. So this is the energy currency, okay, of our body. Now ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so we'll be talking about it in the biomolecule chapter. Now let us talk about the matrix. This is the matrix substance that is present here. This is matrix, and there are various types of enzymes that are present here. There are various types of protein channels that are present in the membranes. Okay, so one of the important protein channels in the mitochondrial membranes are porins. Okay, or minute pores. Okay, Now if you talk about the size of mitochondria, then it is somewhat 1 to 4.1 micrometer in length. So this is 1 to 4.1 micrometer in length, and if you talk about the diameter, it is 0.21. So if you talk about the diameter, let me talk about the diameter. It is 0.2 to 1 micrometer. Okay, so that's very important. Now this cristae has some very important machinery which produces ATP, and we call them F0 F1 particles, like the tennis rackets, okay, whose base is embedded within the M phase, okay, and it has a head part, and it is also called the F0 F1 particle. So if you just draw the structure in a very simplified manner, you can see how it looks like. So it is a very simplified version, and it is 8.5 nanometer, okay, and this is called the F1 on the head part, okay. So this is the head part. Now this is 3.5 nanometer, and this is called the stalk. Then we have the base here, okay, and this base is somewhat 1.5 nanometer in thickness, okay. So that's very important. And if you talk about the height of this portion of the base, it is 11 nanometer in length as per standard books like Truman's Elementary Biology, along with other standard books, okay. Now the mitochondria has its own DNA, but it is naked. So naked DNA present, naked DNA present in mitochondria, and they have their own mitochondrial ribosome, okay. So it is called mitochondrial ribosome in them, and their 55S to 70S,